What's up, I'm going to another video, and today we are going to be doing the King Boo's 10 Commandments of Aggro BTD free power-ups. So yeah, we got a pretty fun one. We got some free power-ups games on in the background. We probably won't commentate much of them if at all. Maybe the last one, but when we finish the Commandments, then we'll maybe go on to describe what we're doing. But we're kind of just telling the tactics, bits for BTD free power-ups grinding. And yeah, just free power-ups, tips and tricks, little bits that are I think quite important. A lot of people might have forgotten them since there's not a lot of free power-ups there anymore. Not a daily thing anymore. It was before. It was like over like 28 different days. It was the main grinding arena on like 24, I think, and then like 2 were only T0 days, 2 were Spire and Speed Bonanza. So yeah, so some of these things might have been forgotten, and people might not know these. This is just the educational video, I guess. Anyways, first commandment: thou shalt not skip the short maps. So yeah, if you're grinding in BTD, you need to know what you're doing on short maps. I like Jam Pack Team Tower Stun, Super Eco Boost. You might like Super Eco Boost Team Tower Stun Acid. These are 2 really popular options. I'm going to need to do something to my iPad in the background so that I don't have to keep tapping the screen every 10 seconds. That will drive me crazy. But yeah, you usually need to know what you're doing on the short maps. I guess if there's someone who's been you a few times in a row on a short map, who's just better at you at short maps, then maybe you can contemplate skipping the short map then. But yeah, most of the time you need to make sure you are oh my goodness, can this just... I can't find the button. Anyways, yeah, you need to make sure you are playing the short maps, know what you're doing on the short maps, and yeah, it's going to help your overall win rate so much, because you're going to get stalled out for a longer period of time on long maps. You can have some hours where you'll have a load of long maps, not many short maps, and then you're going to need to make up that pace on other hours where you get the other part of the luck, where you're playing short maps and getting the quicker wins. So yeah, playing the short maps, not skipping those, is going to help the average pace quite a bit. So yeah, first tip is make sure you're playing the short maps. Or first commandment tip. Second commandment: now shall buy boomers at the start end of the map in the aggro mirror. So yes, you're going to quick shot team tower stun mirror. If you have a boomer in the middle of the map, then when they team tower stun, it's going to be too late when you rebuy the boomer at the end of the map. And so you need to make sure you have your first turbocharge ready at the start of the map, and then when they team tower stun, you can either sell and rebuy at the end, or you can sell more farms if you're not confident at doing that, and have the second one at the end, so that once the team tower stun wears off, you've got another turbocharge ready to defend for you. And yeah, this is really important for all aggro mirrors really, because otherwise you're just going to lose on round 13. Aggro mirrors should never end on round 13, unless it's like cell freeze or something, but most of the time, yeah, aggro mirrors should not be ending on round 13. I still can't find the button. I'm like going through settings in the iPad while this is going on. What's happening in this game? Oh yeah, we have a nice BFB defend on the screen there. Yeah, for the general defense, you just have to like learn those and bits. But it's really quite easy with turbocharge. Anyways, commandment number 3: thou shalt not greed heavily in the aggro mirror. So yeah, something you got to greed. You got to get some farms going, but you can't greed too hard, because if you greed too hard, you're gonna leak a lot to a team tower stun, or you're gonna get forced to sell your farms really quickly, and then you're gonna get drained, and you're gonna lose games because of it. So yeah, the worst player at this is actually just No Tricks. If you have played him in free power ups, he just greeds like an absolute madman. And yeah, he often like dies like if he had like a plant and a 1-0 farm down, and then he like sold a bionic for another plantation. And if you're against passive, we'll come on to that later on, but if you're against passive, they don't want to be sending loads of stuff, so that's an okay play there. But against aggro, you know, they're so happy to send you stuff because it's going to drain you, which is exactly what they want, to be sending stuff and draining you. And if you get too drained, then even though it's not as bad as against passive, getting drained in the aggro mirror is still going to be pretty bad, and can lose you some games. Anyways, commandment number 4: now shall I presume ninja farm is copy eco when you're against ninja farm. So yeah, so ninja farm, pretty common. Oh, it's getting less common, but used to be incredibly common. And yeah, if it's ninja farm, the majority of the time they're using copy eco. what this means is we don't want to be using any Super Eco Boost versus Ninja Farm, because if you give them too much money, Ninja Farm's going to run away with the game. It's going to have Sabos and other perma defense ready for round 20, and you're never going to have a chance in the game. Whereas if you don't use your Super Eco Boost or any at all, then you're going to give them any money. You can send them cheap draining rushes, like forcing the double shot with pinks and stuff like that. And yeah, like you could do if you want to do a rush I quite like it if you send like around 3 sets of regen whites. I kind of just go along with it, as you can kind of tell. Just send a bunch of regen whites and then some yellows over the top. If you're doing power lock, that's great. Otherwise, you can just send like a few yellows just to cover the regen whites, and that's going to force probably a lightning. They'll have often lightning copy eco damage boost with Ninja Farm and like Ace, which is that's pretty common. And yeah, that will force a lightning out of them, which is good for if you're using Team Tower Stun. You can get some lightnings out of the way, and then you got your powers gone for when you got your Team Tower Stuns for later game rushes to try and win the games with Team TSs. Or it's going to force loads more defense down, and it's going to strain their farms while not letting them get a strong copy eco off. So of course, if you do then see them use Super Eco Boost, or they use Super Eco Boost on round 3, you can then use your Super Eco Boost as pretty much normal. Or if they use dual Eco Boost, you want to make sure that you're then draining them as much as possible, because the more you drain them, less farms they get, the less value from their dual Eco Boost, and the stronger the odds are that you're going to win the game. I swear this button should be this one, but okay, never mind. Anyways, Commandment number 5, thou shalt not waste the last TTS. So yeah, your TTSs are very valuable. The first one you can use to get a lot of leaks or to win the game. The second one has to be used when you're very confident that you're going to win the game, or that there won't be a better opportunity to use it later on. So you'll see the way I play Quickshot TTS changes a lot if I use a TTS on like round 8 with yellows. If I feel like that's a good play and it gets them quite low on leaks, I'll very, very rarely use my last TTS on round 13. If I don't use a TTS before round 13, I'll very often use one on round 13 with a strong rush in there, and then use the last one when I think the final rush is going to come off and hopefully win me the game. But obviously this changes if you're in a position where you're not confident there'll ever be a better spot to win the game. You then want to use it then, because if it gets too late, then TTS is going to start losing value. If they get like perma Sabos ready, then that means 1.7 seconds on a map with Sabo, basically less than a second of TTS, I guess. So you want to make sure you are not getting caught off guard by that. I'm just going to give up by the way on this. You can't even see what's going on, but I'm going to give up trying to keep the iPad on button. I used to have it on, then I had to restart my iPad, and then I've not found it since. Anyways, commandment number 6, you should drain the passive opponents, or thou shalt drain your passive opponents at every opportunity possible. So as we've said before, just kind of general tips and tricks we've been saying, you need to make sure the passive can't get too much money. If passive player gets more money, the more money the passive player has, the more likely it is they're going to be able to win the game. So draining them as much as possible is absolutely essential. When they're using Quickshot Power Lock, I don't think I ever really... if your opponent can get a BIA off and survive, then it's completely screwed. You're screwed. You messed up. It's very rare that my opponents will ever get a BIA down, unless I'm letting them to get it to then force it to sell. Like if you don't get the force on the BIA, you almost might as well just quit the button. Honestly, it's so unwinnable. But just every rush possible, unless it's of course copy eco. This is then where it's completely different. This is where you should want to anti-stall, which we'll get onto in a later tip, I guess. Did we do this already? This tip? No, we didn't. Oh no, it's the next one. So you just want to maximum anti-stall if it's copy eco. You can't send rushes then, but you want to send really cheap rushes still to try and, like we said, the regen whites and some yellows over the top. Oh, someone's angry outside. Just want to send cheap rushes in to force the load of defense, rather than bigger ones. But if it's not copy eco, especially if it's like a farm power, then literally any rush that will drain. That's kind of the difference between T0 and free power-ups. In T0 you can't send every single rush possible to drain the opponent, because you'll get drained yourself and then you'll struggle. But in free power-ups, you've got a little bit more money with the eco powers, and stronger Sabo powers for high chance. So you're more likely to win in the early game. So it is then worth to send greens to force more Dart Monkeys, to send yellows to force a Spolt. Things like that are all worth. So yeah, tip number 6, now should drain the opponent every opportunity possible. Let's go into commandment number 7. Thou shalt not lose the anti-stall. In the last game, which we're going to commentate on this, which hopefully will be done in time by that. I believe it will be. We've got 9 minutes to get there. Only 3 more things to go through. But yeah, so in that, you'll see that, yeah, it's better to not have your farms be as progressed, but to maintain the anti-stall, as opposed to having slightly better farms, but not keeping the anti-stall. So just a bit of a demonstration of why this can be quite important. Let's just say your opponent's doing a farm strat of Super Eco. They're doing like Whiz Farm Ace or something with Super Eco Boost. They send you some pinks, they send you maybe some yellows to force your Ricochet, things like that. So let's say you you don't keep the anti-stall going. Let's say there's any greens to force your Boomer or something, and that breaks the anti-stall. And let's just say, it probably won't increase it by that much, but let's say it makes the game 24 seconds longer for Eco Boosts. What this means is that they've probably gained about 400-ish eco through those kind of rushes, those eco boosts, which means that they have $1,600 more to help them with their defense. That's like pretty much, that's basically a lightning upgrade, almost a full lightning upgrade in defense, or so much closer to their ODS. And yeah, if they're then able to afford this defense without having to sell farms, it's much less likely you can drain them for the later game. And yeah, obviously the money just it stacks, it like multiplies. So earlier anti-stall particularly, you can't let your opponent get too much stuff there and run away with the game. So yeah, really important that you anti-stall. Also, just getting to the later rounds as soon as possible is pretty much every single time just essential. Just yeah, less money. You can probably get like 30-40 seconds quicker getting to round 20, and that's so many more, especially against like Eco in particular versus Eco. That's literally thousands and thousands of dollars they're going to be losing off of their defense versus BFBs, and it's going to force them to trade, sell more stuff to stop ecoing earlier on. So if you've been able to farm decently at the same time, then you're going to be in a really good spot, especially versus Eco. It's going to stop them sending in BFBs, or it should stop them sending in BFBs. And if they do, they should be in a really bad spot, and yeah, you're going to be able to win the game from that. So yeah, just really important that you maintain the anti-stall. If lots of your games are going over 3 minutes by round 10, then you need to really think about what you're doing with your anti-stall in free power-ups and start working on it. Of course, this is not as important in an aggro mirror because you're not pressed for time. Your opponent can't run away with the game the longer anti-stall, so it's then better to get more farms down in the aggro mirror. But if you're quite high on the leaderboard or in the grinding clan, I would just typically assume you can look at their profile, you can do some profiling bits, try and remember names and bits. But yeah, I would just typically, when I'm grinding T1, I just assume everyone's doing passive versus me, because most people are, unless I recognize them from a prior game. Anyways, commandment number 8, thou shalt BIA if the game is unwinnable early. So yeah, if you can't rush loads early on, if you're doing against like tech eco, you want to make sure you're getting a BIA down, because the games against tech shooter, they should not be dying to a Moab or any regular balloons. You can send the rushes in still. There's still some cool rushes you can send in. All these rushes you've got to look through my channel for. I might make a rushing video in the future, but yeah, you just got to learn the rushes. You could just learn your own rushes, I guess, or copy others. But yeah, you got to be you got to make sure you get a BIA down, or at least a factory round 17 at the worst, so that you're able to get off your BFB defend, whilst also having money to be able to send rushes in. Because if you can barely afford the BFB defend, then you're going to really struggle. So yeah, it's also kind of being smart of your rushes there. But yeah, going for the BIA, if the game is unwinnable, it's going to allow you to easily be able to defend the BFBs while sending them back, and then sending an all-out round 22. You don't want to really be rushing past round 22. Well, we're getting to round 23 obviously because it's really short rounds, but you don't want to be going to constant CMGs too often. So yeah, but early BIA if the game is unwinnable early on is definitely something you got to be thinking about. And then yeah, commandment number 9, you got to greed maximally versus passive. So yeah, you got to keep the anti-stall, but also if your opponent's sending you more stuff, they're going to have less money in their farm. So let's go back to our Wiz Ace example. If you go for either you've kept the anti-stall well, you've got like a 2-minute round 7 or decently, and it's now on to round 8. What's this, in like 2:25 or something? You got your Dartling Gunner down. You've also got your 2-0 Boomer down for your anti-stall. It's looking nice. And now they're going to send you some yellows. You're going to afford your Ricochet with your you've got a Plantation and a 1-0 farm down. They then stop sending yellows. You don't want to sell the Ricochet, get another Plantation, because if they send you this again, you can do plays like sell the Dartling Gunner and get another Ricochet, which will defend all the yellows they can send again. But since they've sent so much from this rush, and they're quite aggressive minded in this moment, they're probably not going to want to stop rushing, so they might want to punish the only having a Ricochet down by sending you space to regen whites. So they'll probably send 3 or 4 of those. You can then sell the Ricochet, get a Bionic, you could get a Bionic, or you could get 2 powerful darts down, then sell one of the powerful darts, and all this while you can just keep farming, and if you get the 2 powerful darts and then sell one, they're going to send you yellows again. And this is probably about, so I've just described a long process, but this is about 3k worth of rushing. That's a lot of rushing. that's a full Plantation that they don't have anymore. That's so much less likely that if you're draining them with rushes still, that they're going to be able to get their BIA off. And when you're against Wiz Ace, it is a drain game later on, so if you drain them too much, if you don't get your BI down but you still have like effect, then you're going to be in a really good spot for BFBs, and they're going to be in a really bad spot versus BFBs, because BFBs will drain them a lot. And you can win the game like that. Such a bit of quite an in-depth example, Commandment number 9. But just on the whole, against farm, if you can greed as much as possible, or if you're using like copy eco, like you predict it's an eco strat and then it's a farm strat, then just leave your powerful dart down. Just make them send you stuff, and it's going to really help you to win the game. And before the last game, we got Commandment number 10. Thou shall change up the strategy. I can now turn the iPad off and not tap it every 10 seconds. That's nice. So you don't want to use the same strategy every single time. You can adapt the strategy for opponents as you start to learn them throughout. A week will go on. But different maps, different opponents. You want to change the strategy up. You can't just use Power Lock on every single opponent. Maybe Power Lock you can for most opponents, but you still could even change up to Copy Eco to help you out if you know your opponent's going to do Eco. Or if you're able to make predictions, like we're going to tell you one for the last game, which we've kind of hyped up quite a bit now. But for the last game, we make a good prediction, and I'll tell you how we made that when we get to it. But that can then help you win the game. And then some maps, TTS is just very quick. Other maps, Power Lock, you just need it. Power Lock can be a bit slow sometimes on short maps though. So just making sure you're varying for map and opponent. Upgrade Knockout Salted is really good versus bad opponents, so very, very quick versus bad opponents, I should say. You'll win with anything, hopefully, versus very bad opponents, but that is some existing advice. There are the commandments, and hopefully some of those tips help you. Obviously, there's more tips, which I've just forgotten when I was making this video, but and like specific strat tips, but now we're going to go into the final game versus randomized. This guy was quite high on the leaderboard. They're using Tech Shooter, they're using Tech Eco, and we've brought Copy Eco, and we've also changed to Deactivate. So how could I predict this? So this is a good map for Tech Eco, that's the first one, but also the game before we had the first map was Moon Landing, which he didn't skip, he readied up on, and we then skipped it, and he then skipped Temple. So what this means is, using this, using our ability to try and read what opponent's doing, they want to play passive because they readied on a long map, and they're also probably like Tech Eco since it's a common strat, and it was just a perfect for that map, and this is also perfect for this map. So by this we could predict it was Tech Eco. We also beat them last game with Copy Eco Quick Shot Cell Freeze, so we presumed they would want to do an Eco strat for that reason as well, because they can't get them Cell Freeze, and they'll probably feel quite confident they can win. So we've also changed to Deactivate for that reason, and we've also changed the strategy up there. Even though we don't have all the powers on this account, we could still mix up the strategy and use it to our advantage. I'm not sure how much of the early game we got in, but you're just seeing we got down a very early Boomer down, and then we even sold our powerful darts off and got it straight to our Bionic so that we could help a really strong anti-stall. And this is not going to affect our farms even that much, because we're going to get around 13 BIA off, because we can just sell because of the copy eco is so strong, we can just sell the farms off, go for the BIA, round 13, no problem, and still be able to afford defense like turbochargers and stuff, which he shouldn't be forcing, because he could only force that with like zebras and rainbows and proper rushes, and that's going to slow down his eco, and yeah, make it harder for him to win the game. But yes, as we were saying before as well, one of the other commandments, what was it? Oh, I forgot now. And the iPad's turned itself off, so I'm not finding that back up again. But yeah, we can't rush here, so we BIA. No problem with that at all. It's going to make the game longer, but yeah, it's tech village glue. Like, if we hit quick shot, we're not going to do anything. He can go for a ring of fire really easily. He can go for his glue splatter really easily, or his 2-3 glue gun, I guess, the main thing. But yeah, but there's nothing really can really send. And he'll have passive powers as well. But yeah, so we're going to quick shot 1 ceramic, and that's $300 on this defend. And we can just see what he's going to do. So he's going to go for some more defense. He's going to stop ecoing. We'll send 2 more, and it's only $900 worth of sending, just to see what it's going to do. And it forces a low more defense, more than $900 worth of defense. And we got a BIA down, like, we're fine. We have 870 eco. We got copy eco BIA off from 13. So small rushes like that, absolutely no problem sending those in. Forces a bit. He's got his 2-3 glue gun down. He bought that himself. He stopped. He's a little bit of ecoing, but he doesn't eco that well this game. I'm going to tell you that for free. But yeah, so we're going to just farm on now. So yeah, and because we've got our round 13 BIA, it means round 20 it's going to be full, which is going to almost give us enough for getting down 2 factories, which is really nice. But yeah, I'm just going to see what he's doing. Is he sending eco balloons? Like, a few eco balloons, but he's not got a lot of eco right now, I'll tell you that. Yeah, no ecoing right here. He's just getting ready for BFBs. So if they're getting ready for BFBs, you don't necessarily need to send one in at them. Honestly, we could have in this game, because we do have deactivate, which is going to give him some problems, but we could also just hide it. So instead, we're getting ready for our BFB defense, because this was one of the commandments in the end, so I was going to say something about the BFB defense, but you want to have your Dartling gunners down earlier on. We go for depleted plutonium, just in case regen leads, camo leads blocked us off. We don't want that happening. But yeah, if you have them down nice and early, you can then get them off our spinning barrel, and it will help you with your defense for only 2 turbochargers. We're now at an area where we can get our second factory, but just in case there's a BFB, we're just going to be cautious, get a little bit more money in hand, then go for our second one. And we shouldn't upgrade to more valuable bananas for another 8 seconds, just to give them a chance to send a BFB. But yeah, we did it slightly too early, and now there's a BFB on our screen. And we also now have 2 factories down with loads of eco, so we can make these all faster spinning barrels. We see he's going to send multiple, so he's not ecoed well, and he's sending multiple BFBs. This is going to drain the small amount of money he does have, and the small amount of eco he does have. He's sending us 3, so that's minus 300 eco just from those BFBs. And minus $7,500, which he really desperately needs. He does not have a lot of defense down right now. And yeah, you can just see, nice, we just get a few more faster spinning barrels down, because we're not popping these as early as we should be. And so yeah, just getting a few more down, it's just going to make sure, we're not even got quick micro, but you know, you can get all this rebought in time. We go for a third one, just because we're not too sure about, because we popped it so late, because we like to stay on top of a single BFB. We're making sure we're yeah, staying on top of that. Let's send in the ZOMG, which we're pretty sure there's no way he can viably afford that, because let's have a minus 400 on his eco, so 700 negative eco, and it would be $16,500 worth of sending. So we can go for our next fac because of that. And he's going to go for the defense. Psych, he can't. He's going to send us a ZOMG in, which means we could go for the ZOMG defend. It is a viable. We had enough money to get this off. However, the game before was this guy again on a different map. The game before that was I just choked the defense somehow on this map. It's a little bit hard of the Dartling placement. So instead, we're just going to counter. Send quicker balloons when you're countering BFBs. And we must not forget that we have deactivate. So his main way of defending this is his maelstorms towards the end. So once we can deactivate in a good spot like this, he can't maelstorm anymore. And now he's going to get overrun by balloons. And yeah, Jug Launch isn't going to save him. We're going to win the game like that. And yeah, that's a pretty high level gameplay. And this is the Commandments video. So much getting on the leaderboard. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you learned something new. You see, it was quite hard on the leaderboard, this guy. And yeah, that wraps today's video. Do hope you enjoyed, do hope you learned something new, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye everybody.